just checking out these onion sets, because the problem with onions is that, well, when you grow them as sets, that is that they push themselves out of the ground, and very often people just come along and jam the onion set, the little bulb thing, into the ground and leave it, and you get this kind of thing happening. Just look here, we've got two that have, as the roots have grown, they've actually pushed themselves out of the ground. So when you are planting onion sets, it's really important to make sure a number of things. First of all, you use a dibber to make a little hole. Don't just use the onion set itself and jam it into the soil. You make a little hole with the dibber, push the onion set in, and then firm the soil around it. That's the first part. The second part, and probably more important, is that you come along a week, maybe 2 weeks later, and check for the onions that have been pushed out of the ground, because as the roots grow quite ferociously, and this kind of thing happens. So you check them and you firm them back in before they fall. Now, when they've fallen over, pigeons come along and take them. People often think that pigeons just come along and pull out onions for fun. It's not quite as simple as that. It's usually a sign that somebody's not taken the care in the first place to put these things in the ground properly. Now, it's not the end of the world. I'm going to make a little, I haven't got my dibber with me, but I have got a homemade dibber, which is a finger. A nice little hole, in it goes, and firm it in. That's all it needs. It's not so difficult. Nice little hole, in it goes, and firm it in. I'm trying not to walk on this. It's not my plot, and I don't like walking on people's soil. Nice little hole, in it goes, firm it in. That's all you have to do. Here's another one that's grown, and it's been there at least a week, because look how the shoot has grown vertically from the horizontal. So let's make a nice little hole beside it, push it in, firm the whole thing in, and that should grow quite easily. Push it in. One thing about onions is that they don't mind being disturbed a little bit in the first part of their growth. It's when they get a bit bigger that they don't like it. The other problem with this is that if the onions are not possibly as firmed in as they should be, it actually restricts the growth of the leaves that the onion set produces. The more leaves an onion makes, the bigger the onion's going to be. So it's really important that you firm them in, you put them in properly in the first place. But I've got some here that actually never made it to the soil, and they've started to sprout. They're probably going to die if I bring them out here. There's no roots on them. They're a bit dry, but my favourite pastime is a little sad. I'm going to put these in hospital, see if we can make them grow. I have to do that in the polytunnel, so that's where we're going to go now. These might not actually work. It might be that they're going to die. Who knows? But it's worth a try. And I always think that it is worth a try to get something into an environment that is probably a little bit more cosseted. And in the polytunnel, of course, it's one of the best places to look after sick plants if you need to look after them. And all that I'm going to do is simply dip them into the ground along this string. This has been dug over, but it's been a week or so ago, as you can tell with all of the moss. And I'm making holes in the ground around about 8 or 9 inches apart. And the reason why they're 8 or 9 inches apart is not because it's some kind of hospital regulation in the plant hospital here. I'm going to grow things in between it. I'm going to grow some garlic in between it later on. The same reason. I know it's the wrong time of the year, but we're in the green, in the polytunnel, and so why not? And in it goes. I'm just going to very lightly push it in and then firm it down. And quite simply, all that's going to happen to this thing is that it will either grow or not. But it's really, really quite, well, for me, a sense of achievement to be able to put plants into situations where normally you would just throw them away or compost them or do something else with them. And I like to have that kind of fulfillment that comes with knowing that, well, I actually got that plant going.